Right now, I am just starting Candy Castle, kind of inspired from Candyland. Um, I drew it on here freehand, which is normally something I love to do, but I don't get to do a lot of because everyone's normally asking me to do a portrait or something photorealistic. So I'm super into this piece right now because it's something I normally don't get a chance to do. But because I drew it on with some markers and a skid scribe, I got to outline it, which is something I also normally don't do. I just start shading it in and filling it in right away. But in order to keep my stencil from wiping away, I got to kind of outline it really quick. In order to do that, I decided to outline it in color. That way it doesn't look too animated and too cartoony by using a bold black outline. So I'm just going through it right now and like sketching out different colors. The castle is mainly going to be like a waffle cone kind of look. So I'm using like a bamboo color and some black cherry in the darker areas of the outline. But once this is all done, you're not going to see any of these lines I'm putting in there anyways. So I'm just kind of sketching it in as quickly as I can. That way I can get to the good stuff. Right now, since I just kind of poured a bunch of colors out for my palette, I have a few of my colors in there. I have my mocha, I have chestnut, I have black cherry, I have raw umber and dark umber. I'm going to use those colors of mine, and most of the other colors I chose were a lot of the basic colors of Intenze. Mario's dark blue, light blue, pretty much everything, seafoam green. I pretty much grabbed everything possible for this piece. Most of the brighter colors because this piece is going to be pretty vibrant and bright. And a lot of my colors are, mainly flesh tones and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be using too many of mine in there, but I will be using probably about half of my colors in this particular piece. Especially the lighter ones, like the Dijon and the Mocha. Most of the colors I poured out today, I poured basic colors. That way I could make multiple colors out of those colors by dipping back and forth into the other ones to create a bunch of different colors. I have a pretty basic color palette out right now, but that basic color palette is gonna, turn into, 50, 60 different colors by the time I'm done with it. That's just basically the way I tattoo. I dip back and forth in between each color to create more colors. When I designed my my color set itself, I designed it the same way. It's 19 colors, but those 19 colors can be made into 100 colors if you wanted to. And you just dip back and forth between all the colors to give it different effects. Never use just one color. I'm kind of going all over the place all the time. Actually, once I start getting the ball rolling and making something more saturated and heavy, I'm dipping back and forth in between a few different colors to make another color. By the time I'm done with that color, the original color that I poured isn't the same color anymore. It's all muddied up, or it's a brighter color. I mean, like I said, you can get multiple layers of colors by dipping back and forth. When you don't dip back and forth, the color palette kind of stays the same. But this really allows me to create the illusion that there's multiple colors everywhere. Once I get into that, it makes the piece a lot more fun, a lot more interesting. And that's usually what people comment on in my work. They're like, wow, you have so many colors out there. There's so many colors in that piece. How do you do it? And it's basically, I'm just dipping back and forth in between other colors. For an example, let's say I take Mario's blue, and then I'll just break that down with white and constantly break that down with white until it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter until it's almost white itself. And then I could dip back and forth in that light blue, and then I'll add some green to it or purple. I mean, whatever the piece calls for. When I'm looking at something, it's kind of different every time. But once you get the hang of mixing the colors in the palette, it gets really simple, and you kind of just forget about it and you don't even think about what you're doing anymore. You're kind of just doing it. Unless somebody asks me a question or to explain it, I totally space out and I just do it, you know? Like right now, I'm dipping into red, and I'm gonna dip into like this chestnut color, and that's gonna come up with a completely different color that I don't even have out there, you know? And I'm gonna use this in like the pinker areas of this waffle cone here. Well, when I started today, I had full intentions of trying to finish the tattoo, but it's actually a lot more work than I anticipated. Putting all the little details and stuff in there. I started doing that right away, trying to finish it as I go, but wasn't really working out too well with the time restraints. So really, don't have enough time to finish the whole half sleeve here in 5 hours. So basically what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of mapping in all the colors where I want the colors to be. So it'll look kind of like it's almost finished, but it's just basically an elaborate outline. We'll probably have one more session on this at a later time. Probably another 5 to 6 hours, I'm guessing. So right now, just mapping it in, I'm basically laying down the foundation to lay more colors over the top of it. It's kind of like when you're doing a painting, you have so many layers of paint on the canvas, you know, and then you leave, come back to it when it's all dry and you go over it some more. Kind of the same thought. Let the person heal, go through it again, and it'll just look more cleaner and more crisp. See, like what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of, you could leave it alone, the outline that's there, you could barely see it. But by laying the color through it this way, it's gonna, you know, bring it out a lot more, and it just allows me to saturate it more later. Honestly, it's really hard to know when a tattoo's dead. Being an artist, I think any artist is gonna answer this question the same way. You're never really done. You could be done with a piece and it could look really good, but then you'll see that piece again and you're definitely going to want to go back through it and do some more stuff. So it's really hard to say that you're dead. So I kind of never say that I am, because I think there's always something that you could add to it. Especially when you step away from the piece and go back to it another day, there's always something you want to do more. So I never feel like I'm done with a piece, unfortunately for the client. But it makes the tattoo look a lot sweeter the more you go into it.